Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk about the transit of Neptune. And I feel like Neptune is such an important planet because when it transits over natal planets or opposing them, you will have an experience. This planet is extremely important and very, very strong in its effects. Now, in Vedic sidereal astrology, we do not use the outer planets in terms of house rulership. We only use the seven planets that are visible to the naked eye. But these outer planets have such an effect that are transpersonal on the birth chart, as well as the effects that are going on globally in the world. And when these planets are discovered, what they bring about into the realm of consciousness in the world, they have a major effect on the world. For example, Neptune was discovered in 1846. At that time, what came into being was photography as well as silent movies. So Neptune has the effect of making things appear real that are not real. And this planet has a major effect on illusions in this sense. So it brings into fact the illusionary things. It is the planet of confusion, deception, cloudiness. And what that's all about is the fact that we can't see clearly with Neptune. And what I say, it is the planet that particularly deals with such illusions that I say it's like a spell has been cast over you. You can't see things correctly. And especially if Neptune is transiting over a planet that pertains to love or romance, look out, because you cannot see clearly. And until that transit passes, you're going to be under the spell of Neptune. But when it does pass, you're going to wake up and you'll go, what was I thinking? That's the effects of Neptune. But on the other level, Neptune deals with ecstasy, as they say, and it deals with beauty. Some say it's the higher vibration of Venus. So Neptune can deal with this illusion of beauty. And it is with the arts, but it definitely has an effect that deals with music. So it deals with the ethers and the things that affect our feelings, how we view things from a feeling, emotional sense. And it can be extremely distorted because Neptune does rule drugs and alcohol. It deals with ways that we escape this world. So when you're dealing with Neptune, this is the way that maybe we escape the world. But that can also be spirituality, going beyond this world, understanding things of the spirit, because Neptune has a lot to do with the spiritual. But it can rule cults, because remember, it's deception, deceit, denials, things that we can't see clearly. And you've got to be really, really careful under the spell of Neptune. So I want to talk about, as Neptune goes through our charts, Neptune will move. It moves very slow. It stays in a sign for about 12 to 14 years. So it will be in the same house, in the same sign in your chart for about 12 to 14 years. And it takes approximately 168 years for it to go through all 12 signs, give or take a few years, but somewhere around that ballpark, that it takes that long to go through all 12 of the signs. Now it will go retrograde, which causes it to go back and forth. And many times when it's conjuncting a planet in your chart, it'll go back and forth and be on that planet throughout that year, because it moves so slow. If you take the mean motion of adding up, when it goes fast and slow, it only covers about 3 degrees per year. So it's going to be situated on planets for a long time. And if it's conjunct or oppose a planet, look out, you're going to have these major effects of not seeing clearly, not knowing the truth. And once it clears, the truth will be seen, the truth will be known. Neptune is also called the Great Dissolver, because it will dissolve things, it will end things, and once it's all said and done, you can't even see the purpose of it. Neptune is that tricky. But as it transits through each house, it's going to cast its effects, but most of all when it's conjoining major personal planets such as the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, it will make a major effect in your life. Trust me with that. So Neptune, when it transits in the first house, you can't see yourself clearly, because remember, the first house is who you are. But you might become involved in mystical, spiritual things, because Neptune is that mysticism. And people that have it conjunct their ascendant are mystics. And Neptune, let me remind you, deals with psychic abilities. When people have Neptune conjunct a planet, let's say in the 8th house, they'll be extraordinarily psychic, conjunct the Moon, conjunct the Sun. The 8th house will deal with psychic ability, and so does Neptune. But when Neptune's transiting the first house, you can't see yourself the way others see you. And it is casting rays and aspect to the 7th house, which you can't see your partner. You can't see your partnerships. There's a cloud. Many say that Neptune is like looking through rose-colored glasses, because when you fall in love, when Neptune's aspecting a planet, you put that person on a pedestal. You think they are so great, they are so wonderful, they're out of this world. That's what Neptune, rose-colored glasses. But when the transit wears off, you don't see it. You don't see it that way anymore. And you're like, what was I thinking? Did I have a spell cast over me? Yes, you did, Neptune. So in the first, it's going to affect how you see yourself as well as your relationships. And if it's hitting any planets, look out, there will be a major effect that year. Now, Neptune, as it transits your 2nd house, you've got to be aware of how you're spending your money, what you're doing financially. You may have some kind of con artist take advantage of you, so be aware of deals that are too good to be true, because guess what? They are. And as it's aspecting your 8th house, maybe your money with someone else is not on the up and up. Somebody may be trying to dissolve, steal, siphon your money. Just be aware. Just be aware. Neptune, as it transits your 3rd house, there could be some deception concerning siblings, or not seeing them clearly, or there's just confusion. Maybe they're confused and they don't know what way to turn or what to do, because the 3rd house generally will deal with our siblings, brothers and sisters. So also in the 3rd house, you may start studying metaphysics or spirituality. And Neptune will cause you to go deep into the realm of these studies. It is the sign of the mystic. You're always looking at ways to go beyond this world and sometimes escape this world. So when Neptune's in the 4th house, be careful of what could be lurking beneath your home. Many times when I see Neptune there can be poisons or toxins relative to underneath in their house, maybe, in their basement, or maybe beneath the surface of the home. Be aware. If you're not feeling well, investigate what's going on underneath the house. Plus, I've seen Neptune in the 4th house. People have visitations from spirits, or there can be some supernatural things going on in your home. Ghost. Seriously, Neptune rules this type of energy. In the 4th house, it will affect that. There can be the dissolving of the family unit, parents dying, things of that nature. But remember, it's there for about 12 years. So this is a long, drawn-out process. So when Neptune transits in the 5th house, this is the house that can deal with your children. If you have children, be aware of their whereabouts because they may not be telling you the truth. Remember, Neptune can be deceitful and it can lie. And relative to the people that these houses rule, they may not be telling you the truth, such as the third house siblings, such as the fifth house your children, such as the seventh house your spouse. So Neptune in the fourth house could be in the fifth house could be problems with your children. Also be aware that when Neptune transits the fifth house, you may become extraordinarily creative, as well as when it's transiting the third house, because the third and the fifth do deal with our creativity. And this can bring our mind to a new level of awareness in terms of beautiful artistic creations and ideas and imagination. These are all what Neptune's about. So as Neptune goes into your sixth house, if you have any health ailments, always get a second opinion. Because when Neptune's in the sixth house, you're prone to misdiagnosis. And nobody seems to be able to figure out what's wrong. And then once the Neptune transit is over, the symptoms are gone. Neptune rules many times addictions, but at the same time, because it does rule water and the oceans, but it also deals addictions relative mostly, it can be drugs, but alcohol. But in the sixth house, remember, it can deal with allergies. Neptune deals with hypersensitivity. And when it's in the sixth house, you're sensitive to everything you eat, what's in the air, in the environment, even people's emotions. You sense and pick these up more. And this can also be relative to Neptune as it transits your first house, as well as the sixth house. Now, when Neptune transits your seventh house, and let's say it's conjoining or opposing a planet in the seventh or in the first, look out. Relationships can be dishonest. Or it can be that your partner becomes a fanatic in some way, in some kind of spiritual endeavor, or they go off the deep end. Neptune is all about going off the deep end. But it also deals with dishonesty, and you have to really uncover the truth when Neptune is transiting the seventh. But particularly not just going through the seventh, not everybody's going to experience this, but when it's hitting a personal planet in the seventh or the first. So if Neptune's transiting your eighth house, many secrets from the past will surface. And this can deal with a major healing, but it will come through great difficulty because some of the things you're going to see are going to be things that you have been in denial about for many years. But when it surfaces and you see this, it's time to awake. So Neptune is all about the uncovering of the major secrets from the past when it goes through your eighth house. Also be aware of people that might want to take your money, especially if you have an inheritance. Be on the up and up and the lookout to where everything is going, because that's what Neptune does. It dissolves things. In the eighth house, that's money through other people. Neptune, when it goes through the ninth house, this is vast imagination in the realm of our spirituality, finding our truth, mysticism, and going to that exotic place to escape and get away. That's what Neptune in the ninth house will bring. And there may be some deception or problems for the father. Now, when Neptune goes through the 10th house, this can be disruptive to your career, to your job. Maybe your boss doesn't understand or hear what you have to say and misunderstands you, and you don't understand what's expected to you. There's mass confusion in the workplace. And with Neptune being in the 10th house, maybe you go to a career that's quite different, involving computers, such as with photography cameras or videos, all of that will come out that that's what you're supposed to be doing. As Neptune transits through the 11th house, be aware of what your friends are telling you, what they're doing. And by all means, if you're at a party and you see a friend who wants to drive home after too much to drink, be aware. Don't let that happen, because that's where the deception and the problems and addictions can come through from your friends. And it can be a spiritual enlightening experience in terms of your aspirations, but you have to remember to be more realistic when Neptune transits into your 11th house. So when Neptune goes into your 12th house, this is going to be all about dreams, visions, seeing things that are beyond this world. And it can be an incredible imagination that comes forth. Write down your dreams, journal your dreams. Amazing insights are coming through for you. Neptune is the spiritual in the 12th house. It will bring forth the spirituality that you're searching and seeking for. This is a mystical experience to have Neptune in the 12th house. But be aware and be cognizant of thieves and robbers, because Neptune can really enhance that which comes from the dark, from things we can't see. And that's what the 12th house is. Hidden enemies such as thieves, and even people that may be trying to steal some of your ideas. So be very aware of that. Now currently in 2018, Neptune is transiting in the sign of Aquarius. And it is around 20 degrees of Aquarius right now. So it's there for quite some time, for years to come. So check out your chart. Remember, I'm talking the Vedic sidereal chart, that Neptune is in Aquarius. So check out your chart. You can find my free chart calculator on my website, which is galacticcenter.org, and see what house Neptune is transiting. So with that, if you would like to learn more about my work, remember everything is there in my website, which is, once again, galacticcenter.org. Or if you would like to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university, which is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.